Hey everybody, it's Mike. So in this video, I'll try and make it short. I want to share with you my thoughts about the superficiality of any relationship that you have with an untreated borderline. I am not a mental health professional. I am not an expert in borderline personality disorder or any other mental health issue. And because of that, you should not replace anything I say with actual therapeutic advice from a professional in the mental health field. You are responsible for any actions you take from watching this video. All right, so if you are in a relationship with somebody who has untreated borderline personality disorder, then I'm sad to say that your relationship is a fake. You should get very angry with me for saying that, because you would say, why would I go through all of this incredible heart-wrenching pain if my love wasn't real? So I want to let's see. There's a comment that I wanted to read, and this is what got me thinking about it. I've made one of the, I think so far, the most popular video I have is basically says the same thing, that your relationship is a delusion. And that's because borderlines are not capable of seeing you as anything other than a parent. They can only love you with the love that a little child loves mommy and daddy, which is not a full-fledged adult love. That's why, again, I've used, the one of the most striking comments said to me by my borderline ex, after spending what felt like hours taking care of her and crying with her need and her trauma when she was all better, and her wanting, like a little kid, wanting to get up and go to the store. And I said, wait, hang on, I need you to take care of me now. And she says, I'm not going to drop everything just for you. It's because that would be the response of a little infant. After you'd wiped an infant's bottom and got rid of whatever it was that was making them cry, and they were all happy, you then can't go to the infant and say, oh, now take care of my needs. I need you to love me and nurture me. The little kid would start crying again because it has another need. It would be unreasonable. But when you've got, an actual adult looking back at you, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Let's see. I'm trying to find that comment, and I'm not finding it. And it was somebody that was basically saying that you have to love the borderline a certain way, something like that, and it just screamed to me of a lack of understanding, if not outright denial, of what was going on in the relationship. And if I can't find it, then I won't use it. Here it is. This person, I haven't seen any reply from them yet, but I asked a question. But this person says, I think you need, this is in response to BPD, the most tragic aspect of loving a borderline, they cannot love you back. And this person says, I think you need to accept they love you in a different way than is the conventional understanding. That's minimizing it. That's technically correct, but I might as well just replace that by saying, I think you need to understand that they love you in the same way an infant loves a parent. And therefore, you can't get back any kind of normal or real love if they are untreated. And then he goes on to say, or she, whoever it is, says, and if you can accept and understand that, which is by no means an easy task, then you have a chance to be okay. I don't know what that means. All I hear in that is, yeah, you're going to be with somebody who has a mental illness, and the nature of their mental illness is that they cannot have a deep, profound attachment to you and return love to you in an adult fashion. They will love you at the level of an infant. And as long as you can accept that, then you'll be okay. If you really saw it that way, you would be like, oh, so this is going to be just a one-way street. That was one of my favorite things that I kept on saying with my exes. I kept on saying, I feel like this is a one-way street. I feel like I'm doing all the giving. I'm not getting anything back. I'm just realizing that. I kept saying that over and over again. So yeah, that's obvious. But that could be true about anything. You know, you want to, I don't know, my favorite one, you want to go run a marathon with a one-legged man and say, well, if you can accept the fact that the one-legged man is only going to be able to hop and be able to hop at a much slower speed and will definitely not get to 25 miles. And if you can accept that, then you'll be okay. Well, that's obvious. At the same time, this person goes on to say, at the same time, you need to find happiness in the moments you get and not build an entire substructure of bonds or emotions beneath it. In other words, you can't have a functional relationship with an untreated borderline, because that's exactly what you just said. A functional relationship is built on substructure of bonds and emotions beneath them. So what you're saying is, in essence, you cannot have a functional romantic relationship with a borderline. And if you can accept that, you'll be okay. In which case, my thing is, so if you can accept that, then you're going to go, wow, this isn't, I'm a babysitter. And I'm looking back on it now, and that's all I did was babysit my borderline. That's all I did. There was one time in the beginning when she was love bombing me, and she was playing, 50s housewife. She was putting on, a whatever the hell those things are, an apron, and she was cooking me food and pretending to be the wife. And then she would leave the sink full of really dirty dishes, and there'd be water all over the floor, and then she'd have to go and meditate for 4 hours. And looking back on it is because she was in a facade doing the facade thing, and then having to go and drop the facade and deal with it. So I can't tell if this is coming from a borderline or from somebody who's in a relationship with a borderline. Best is to know what you're getting into from the beginning. That's the whole point. I mean, where is that coming from? We're talking about people with borderline personality disorder. They are not known for being conscious of what they have going on with them. Very few of them, unless they've been in therapy for a long time and have a lot of awareness, which, by the way, I've seen some that do, and it's amazing. Unless that happens, they're not going to be able to sit you down at the beginning of the relationship and say, so I need you to understand this. I have a mental illness called borderline personality disorder. It prevents me from making emotional bonds with you and creating a substructure of emotions. I can, change on you on the drop of a hat, and I'm incapable of allowing you to love me. But other than that, I'm really great in bed, and I'm a lot of fun to be with, when I'm in a good mood. They don't do that. Best to know what you're getting into from the beginning. That's the whole point. You don't know what you're getting into until you've been in far too long. That's the whole nature of the mental illness, is that they pretend, or they use a facade to try and fit in with, non-borderline people, and they're not. That goes totally against what you're saying. So this whole statement screams of denial. And then it goes on to say, it's much more devastating to find yourself in it unaware. Of course it is. That's the whole point. That's what we're saying. So at the time that I read that, I thought maybe this was somebody who was in a relationship with a borderline and was, trying to say it was okay. And so I said, how long have you been in your relationship? But this might be a borderline. So, anyway, the point is that, again, unless they've been in treatment for a long time, if they have this mental illness, you can't make a bond with them. You can't have a relationship. And I wouldn't go, and nobody, I don't think anybody would willingly take those odds unless they were in denial, which a lot of people are. You could say that to a codependent and they go, you know what? My love will heal you and I'll fix you and I'm not going anywhere and we can get through anything, which of course is craziness. But I just don't, I really wish I knew where this comment was coming from. Anyway, nothing more to say about that. All right, so that's it. That was a short one. If you're in a relationship with a borderline, my suggestion is to get out. Get out while you can. There's nothing that you can do. The kindest thing you can do for the borderline is not stay with them. The kindest thing you can do for a borderline is put them in a position where they will potentially have enough pain that will drive them to seek help. Because none of us get help unless we're in pain. And so I'm not saying to be mean to them. What I'm saying to you is to tell them, I love you. I can't be in this relationship anymore. It's too painful for me. And for my own health, I have to get out and go no contact. If you'd like to have me in your life, I would like that too. Please go to therapy for 1 year on a regular basis with a therapist. And at the end of that year, give me a call. And then I will be happy to meet with you in the office of your therapist and we can talk about, our continuing connection and relationship on whatever level that will be. Because that's the kindest thing you can do. You're not capable of helping them. Staying with them is not going to help them while they're in therapy, which they probably won't do. But if they do, then you can be in therapy and you can be going to 12-step groups and getting healed. And then you will actually have something to give. You'll understand your boundaries and you will actually be a partner that can be helpful to the borderline. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But I have my doubts that a year is enough time. I think they would need a lot more than a year in order to get there. In order to be able to tolerate what their mental illness does to them when it comes to love and bonding and connection. My 3-pronged approach, if you are a codependent, is number 1, go to therapy with a qualified psychologist who knows how to treat codependence of borderlines. 2, go to a 12-step group and work the steps, especially step number 4. I would recommend going to Codependence Anonymous, and you can go online and find those. Zoom meetings are happening all the time. Number 3, I would recommend a spiritual practice of any kind, whether it be meditation, Tai Chi, yoga, going to church, going to Satan's temple. I don't care what it is as long as it works for you. Those 3 things, therapy, 12 steps, spiritual discipline, those things will allow you to heal and find out why you chose the borderline. That's where your healing is. We're talking about why the borderline does what they do because it helps you to realize you didn't do it. You're not insane. You didn't deserve it. But the real question is then why would you chase after somebody, as this person says, in their nice way, who is completely incapable of giving anything to you over any long period? Basically what he said is, get what you can while you can because it's not going to last. And who wants that? Unless you're going to Vegas and getting a call girl, it's really not the kind of relationship people are consciously looking for. So why would you want that? All right, that's it for me. Talk to you guys later. By the way, the little crying borderline over here is crying because you haven't subscribed. So please mouse over her tiny little face very gently and subscribe and she will stop crying. She'll magically be fixed. You will have fixed her. All right, that's it. Talk to you later.